that there's another way that's free of all that efforting, that's simply aware right here and right now. Now, at first glance, you might say, well, okay, so what's the big deal? Why is that so great? Okay, there's less efforting, I get that. There, but as you begin to deepen into the moment and into the now, into the present time, you begin to feel a relief, first of all, from all that efforting. Wow, I didn't know I could be just still and be here. It's such a relief. And so that kind of focusing or meditation or self-inquiry, whatever name we want to give it, brings that sense of relief. And we begin to discover that there's a quality of happiness that we begin to feel. So that I don't sit down to meditate because it's good for me. I sit down because it feels wonderful. And so there's a sense of ease and a sense of happiness. And we begin to find happiness doesn't come from trying to get this thing, which I might have temporarily, and I might be happy for 10 minutes or a day or a month, and then lose it and be unhappy. But if we go inside, there's this joy, there's this happiness that's just present here. It's just here. Maybe I could compare it, a simple comparison, like maybe there was a time when each of us might have had, maybe we're lying on the beach and we're just relaxing and free of all our thoughts and worries, and we just feel so comforted in the moment. Or maybe someone is an athlete running a marathon and stops thinking about the future and the past and just there in the present. And so there's a word called flow, being in the flow that people who are in that realm are talking about. These are all different facets or ways of coming into the moment. So coming into the moment takes attention on the moment rather than intention. The intentional self is always intending something, and because of that, it's missing the present. It's always busy somewhere else, and it's like there's this wonderful fountain of joy in us, but it's not something to be achieved or that we can get to. It's already here, but we're so busy with everything else that we don't even know about it. We don't recognize it.
It seems that a lot of the doorways to that fountain that you're talking about come through the senses, like you're saying. Like I've seen everything from visual meditations, like holding a peripheral sense of vision, or similar with sound meditations. So getting into the senses or body sensations.
Yeah.
Do you have a sense of why that ends up being the doorway to this fountain that you're talking about?
Yes, because this intentional self is living in a dualistic realm. It's living in a world of good and bad, right and wrong. This is better and this is less better. In the present, there's no judgment. There's no, that's something added after. The sensation is pain, something is painful. That's just in the moment. But then the intentional self adds, well, I don't like this. What can I do to get rid of it? So if we don't take that seriously, but instead in the moment just feel into the pain that we're feeling, and then it begins to kind of show itself. This is this uncovering process. It begins as we feel deeper and deeper into it, and deeper. It might take some really opening without judgment into, and to really know the experience, to really know it more and more finely. That pain begins to dissolve. It has no basis to maintain itself. I mean, there may be a physical pain. I'm not talking about physical pain. I'm talking about emotional pain here, to make it more simple. the basis that it maintains itself is any problem, any disturbance we have comes from one source. It comes from some lack of acceptance, some lack of experiencing unconditional love. You know, the traumas that we have, depression, anxiety, if you trace it back, it's to the source. There's this common source that there's some way that I was judged, or I'm judging myself, or I think I'm not good enough, or I have to live in this way to be okay. Whereas if there were unconditional love, there would just be, this is how I am. This is it. This is the truth. This is the yamas and niyamas, living in truth. So one way to understand the healing of this being in the present, meaning a non-judgmental space that includes everything, is that these parts of us that we have alienated, that we've split off from because we think they're no good, or they're wrong, or they have to change, and we're busy trying to do something about it, that when that feels this space of unconditional acceptance, it has no more basis to exist.